How are you all today? This lighting is the pits. But happy Sunday, you all. I'm so sorry I'm running late today. This weekend has been bananas. I planned to be on, my schedule is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I put a note up on my Instagram that I wouldn't be able to do Friday, and I was going to do a pre-recorded video for yesterday, but I messed around and broke my ring light, hence these shadows. And I'm trying to fix it. But anyway, I have another ring light on the way. So just bear with me in this crazy lighting today. Also, the Married at First Sight review, since I didn't get to pre-record it, since I don't have my ring light, I may go live before the new episode comes on Wednesday. So either tomorrow or Tuesday, I may go live and talk about last week's episode, or if Amazon ever delivers my new ring light, I'll do the pre-recorded video and get that on out to you Married at First Sight fans. Also, unfortunately, no sing-along Sunday today because I don't have my equipment. So if you're over there on IG for that, we're going to have to forego this week. I'll put a notice up there. But I wanted to bring you all at least the grab bag for this weekend. Don't let the whole weekend go to the pits because life is life, and honey. Anyway, thank you all for joining me. Welcome to Scared of Beautiful. Good afternoon to all of my beauties and beaux. That's what I call my supporters over here on Scared of Beautiful. I'm so glad you all could be with me this Sunday. If you are new here, please subscribe to the channel. If you're one of my faithful supporters, thank you so much for your support, your kindness, your, everything that you all have been doing these last, few months. What has it been? 6 months almost since I've had my YouTube channel. So I thank you all for supporting me, for encouraging me, and for helping this channel to grow. I want to create a community of like-minded people where we get to grow together, be positive and encouraging to each other, share our struggles in our journey, because one of my favorite quotes since I've been a kid is by John Locke, and it's that no man is an island. And so for you all, womanists or feminists like me, no woman is an island either. In short, as human beings, we are here to help each other along our journeys and to be there for each other and grow. So I want to help do my part in doing that. One way is through this YouTube channel. So the goal of my YouTube channel is to educate, encourage, enlighten, entertain, and just bring a little joy and fun to you all's lives. Sometimes the topics might be serious. Sometimes they're just helpful. Sometimes it's just funny and some of our little guilty pleasures like reality TV, which is what we're talking about today on the grab bag. So let me stop going on and on and on and get to the point. Welcome to the channel. You all are welcome here. We only have 2 rules here at Scared of Beautiful. That is to be good with each other in our speech and in our comments. So no verbal abuse, no disparaging or disrespectful comments will be tolerated. Shout out to my moderators holding down the chat. Thank you all in advance for all that you do to help me support this channel. And thank you all for being here and engaging in fair play. The second rule is no face, no place on my platform. So that means when I drop the link, if you all want to call in and give your perspective on anything that we talked about today, feel free to do so. Just know that you will have to turn your camera on. Just like I have my camera on, even though these braids got to come out this weekend, honey, because I'm tired of all of these flyaways and new growth. It's time for them to come down. But still, you are beautiful. You are wonderful. You are just who you're supposed to be, the way God made you. So you got to show your face. Okay. Now, let's get to it, y'all. Love and Marriage Huntsville. I went back, y'all, and I looked at last week's Rare Back. It was 3 hours. Oh my God. Never. I did timestamps for you all as I promised, but I spent 40 minutes on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Now, I love the show. I know you all do too, but that was way too much time. But I will say it's because the show is so great. This show has taken my spot as number one reality show right now for Black America, Black women, whoever. If that's your category, your audience, that's me. That's what I am. That's what I like to see on TV, people who I can relate to. So it has taken the crown, honey. I'm loving the show. Really good things going on with the couples, really interesting dynamics between all of their personalities. So last night's episode, I just run through you all my thoughts on the couples or what we saw on the show, not the actual play-by-play. So it might be out of sequence. That's that. First, we see Marceau and Tisha. As we know from last episode, Tisha is in Houston waiting on Marceau to get there. They are having a cigar event in referencing their cigar lounge in Huntsville called Black. And they are the ambassadors to this cigar week in Houston. So Tisha wanted to get there and get them some time to also have a little personal romantic fun while they're on this business trip. So she's getting there. She's at the hotel trying to set the mood. Marceau unexpectedly could not make the same flight. He had to stay late to do some work. And we learn in this episode that he missed his original flight and actually had to even catch another late flight. So he's late getting to Houston to meet Tisha. Yeah, Tisha. So gullible. So, Melody, she got mad when Melody told her to put those children in the car and go around to the bar late at night. But you should have maybe sent Wanda to go check up on the house. Or are the kids with Wanda? Maybe that's it. I don't know. I just find it really interesting. I'm not saying he's cheating. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's great timing, very interesting timing of all of these missed flights and having to stay to do extra work. It's just very interesting. I'll say that. Once he gets from his flight, though, he opens the hotel room and Tisha is setting the mood, honey. She has on, it was a very nice lingerie and robe set, her nice heels. I liked her wig. She had a good look going, had the champagne flowing, and honey, Marceau could not have been less interested. He wasn't interested. So, I know some people are more reserved. They don't really like the PDA type thing. There are cameras there, so I'm sure it's kind of awkward to see your wife standing there in a sexy negligee and robe and high heels and liquor ready to go. And there's a whole camera crew there. But he could have at least faked it a little bit. He could have faked it just a little. He could have at least looked engaged or like he was interested and liked what he saw. I mean, he verbally said, "Oh, I wasn't expecting this, but I like it." But he wasn't really enthused. He wasn't really turned on. Then he continues to dim the mood by strictly talking about business, how much this is a business trip, not a, let's reignite our love life trip. He's talking about all the meetings he wants to set up and go to the next day. And it's just, it's a lot. It's a lot to be desired. it's a lot left to be desired is what I mean. It was very cringe for me. I felt really bad for Tisha because she really was trying to put her best foot forward to entice her husband. And in my opinion, y'all, men act like that when they just finished, you know. There wasn't really much left to give because he just gave it all out. He emptied the clip, as some would say. And so he wasn't really there for it. He wasn't turned on. He wasn't enticed. It's very sad to see. Next, let me see what y'all are saying. Vanessa says, I felt the same way about Marceau delaying his arrival. Exactly. Ronnie F says it was a transactional vibe for me. Yes, sis. I am unique. It says, I just can't believe at this point he would still be cheating knowing that he is on a national platform and recognizable. He would be dumb. Yes and no. If whoever he's cheating with sticks to a certain code that some people really used to stick by, more of the old school mistresses and stuff like that, he knows that that person is not going to expose them. Just like he and allegedly some of the other men who were supposedly counseling Martell behind the scenes said, you have to be really careful who you choose to engage with. He could be engaging with another married woman who has just as much to lose. So people have whole other lives, literally. And why, other women, children and everything. And those women stay in their places for whatever reason. I don't think Marceau is a sloppy cheater in the least. I think if Tisha really put enough time into it, i.e. hired a PI or somebody, she could find out what she wants to find out. But I think she's going to take a wait and see approach. Like, if God wants me to know, it'll be revealed and I'll know. And if that's what she wants to do, fine. She'll wait until it falls into her lap, or until he slips up and somebody sees him somewhere that he shouldn't be seen. But I think in her heart of hearts, Tisha knows. You know how I think she knows? The reaction that she had to seeing Marceau talk to Kyra from Ready to Love was completely disproportionate. That man was walking, from what we saw on the camera, he was walking around shaking hands with everyone, including the other women from the Ready to Love cast. I saw a few of the other ladies, and none of them evoked the reaction that Tisha gave when she saw him talking to Kyra. Now, unless they didn't show us a good angle with the cameras, I don't see where Kyra was eyeing him or looking at him lovingly or longingly or whatever Tisha thought she saw. But she cut her conversation, made a beeline, and was like, honey, then had to pull him outside and started crying. I missed all of it. It went 0 to 100 real quick. I was like, what did we miss? The camera didn't really show Kyra and Marceau interacting. We heard the mics of him introducing himself and Kyra introducing herself, but that's what you do. And if you're going to be that insecure, Tisha, in this type of field, it might not be the field for you, girl. Like, the man has to network and you're there with him. So if you think he would do something with you in the same room, that means you don't trust him. That means in the pit of your stomach, either what he's done, what he's currently doing, or what he has the power to do. What he can and will do, and what he likes. Because I didn't see you acting like that when he was talking to, it wasn't Chrysanthemum, it was the other light-skinned girl from Ready to Love that was best friends with Chrysanthemum. I can't think of her name right now. But yeah, y'all, maybe it's me. Francois, hey, Francois says Tisha is so insecure. Look, she is. As Colin says, I didn't understand the crying either. Moni Love say, hey, Plez. Oh, I'm late. Hey, girl, don't worry. I'm late too. I like to get this show started at 2:30 or 3, and today has just been a day. So we're just getting started. Leslie Prim says she knows. Absolutely. Deborah Turner says, I wish she could see this discussion. Girl, she has seen this or something like it. She's going to do what she wants to do. No one leaves until they're ready to leave. Tay B says that editing was messy. Kyra was not interested. Absolutely. I don't see Kyra being interested in him at all. At all. At all. I mean, again, unless he leads with his money. The lady was trying to set up a whole romantic evening for her husband. He's talking about everything but what she was talking about. Business, labels for the champagne. I want to congratulate them on always having these new ideas and rolling with the punches. Chocolate in the bottle. I hope it takes off for them. Y'all get some and taste it and let me know how it is. I'm not a fan of chocolate liqueurs. I don't do like Kahlua and all of that stuff. The mix doesn't work for me. So champagne that tastes like chocolate sounds like a very interesting endeavor. Not for me though. So wish them the best. The other scene was Uncle Mike's scene, and Uncle Mike is Marceau's uncle, who is also an architect who's working on their home at Scott Manor. What is it with their family in the M's? Like, did a grandmama or great grandmama somewhere say everybody in this family is going to have an M name? That struck me again. It's like Maurice, Marceau, forgot the other brother's name that was going around telling all the blogs their business, who allegedly messed with Martell's mama, Uncle Mike. It's just a lot. But we see this sibling rivalry again between Maurice and Marceau, where Tisha and Marceau don't want Uncle Mike to let them know what's going on with their home. I guess because my siblings are so much older than me, I don't get that level of it. Just came off really petty to me. And then when they both kept blaming each other for how the home construction is going and how the timeline has been pushed back, I'm like, I hope this is just for TV. Like, I hope y'all really don't engage with your family members like this on a regular basis, particularly the uncle, because it's like you're almost shading his business and shading his business practice. And outside of your family, he has other clients. So I just wouldn't want to paint my uncle or his business in a bad light like that on national television. That's just me. And I could be reading too much into it, whatever. But that's how I took that scene. And I honestly think Uncle Mike and his wife weren't there for it either. They didn't seem to be too happy with the line of questioning and how everything was going. The other thing, y'all, is this double floor closet going to be the new thing in Black reality television? It's been done. Sorry, guys. Y'all are late to the party. We've seen these closets a few times now. I don't think anyone is impressed anymore. Tay B says Kimmy is not moving on Scott Manor. She's surely not. I would not either. Vanessa Campbell says brought to you by the letter M. Girl, it's like we're back on Sesame Street or somewhere. Leo Forever says all of those M names are so confusing. They really are. Really are. Tanika McCoy says Uncle Mike act like he knows Marceau ain't Jack. He does. He absolutely does. And Taby says they must have watched Married to Medicine and took notes. Absolutely. Francois, Kimmy is definitely not moving near Tisha. I wouldn't either. Who in their right mind, sir? All right. Martell and Melody. Yo, we got an episode with no Martell. It was a welcome relief. But Melody, there was very little Melody either. The only real scene we saw Melody in was in the beginning when they go back to this brunch scene at Destiny's birthday brunch where Tiffany, who is new, who we don't like because she's making all of the wrong impressions. Destiny has run to the bathroom because Tiffany has just dropped this little, little burnt tea about her seeing LeBaric, which is Destiny's ex-husband, at an award ceremony and thinking that the woman with him was Destiny. And she's trying to remind Destiny, oh yeah, remember I met you at Melody's house and I told you how I liked your outfit from the award ceremony. And you were like, that wasn't me. So Destiny runs to the bathroom to get herself together. I was proud of Destiny. Lesser people would have stayed there and let Tiffany have it from the rooter to the tutor. Destiny walked away, got herself together, and she had a friend come and check on her in the bathroom. And she's like, yes, we're over. I'm divorced. But the feelings are still there. There's things that are still going on with me because this was my husband and we were together for so long. Tiffany tries to tell the confessional people, oh, I wasn't being shady. I didn't think it would have that type of a reaction. That was how I remembered her. Ma'am, you are very smart. You were over the Chamber of Commerce, over the membership section of the Chamber of Commerce. You know how people work. You said that to get a reaction and a rise out of her, and you did. Just like you brought up Monster allegedly vaping in the bathroom to get to Kimmy. You know what you're doing. So to sit there and say, I'm not being shaded, girl, it's disingenuous. I'm not here for it. I don't like her. I don't like her, y'all. She's already coming in hot. I don't know where these people come from. I know where they come from. Production brings them in, and I guess they're trying to set her up to be a type of LaToya Ali. She could never be Kenya Moore, but Kenya Moore type of character. But we don't know you. We don't know you. And you came in talking about a child, number one. So that was all the way wrong. Even if you just said what you said to Destiny, maybe. But you come in with tea, quote unquote, on children, not here for it. I will say, to me, Melody looked a little shady in that scene. And I like Mel. I'm hoping, I know she's an executive producer, so I hope she's not playing these reindeer games with setting up people to come in and say stuff to other cast members, to get the show going. But she complained that Destiny doesn't check in with her or let her know when she's having a bad day. But when Destiny excused herself from the table, she didn't go check on her. Like, if you claim you're the friend that you are, or you're the friend that you want to be to Destiny, you should have been one of the main people going to make sure that girl was okay, because that was your guest who came in popping off. So I'm looking at you a little sideways on this, Melody. Pretty Mrs. G says exactly, Plez. Ronnie F says Mel responded on IG to the backlash of Tiffany's messiness. Oh, girl, you're gonna have to DM me or come on and tell us what happened, because I don't watch. I can't go down the rabbit hole on Instagram with those people. Pretty Mrs. G says all wrong, all wrong. She was. Francois says I would have checked Tiffany right then and there. Yes. Chef Extraordinaire asks Ronnie F, what did she say? Yes, girl, let us know. Let us know in the chat, because Mel is starting to act like Wanda. Sandra Robinson, oh no, not Wanda. But Jesus. Terry B says Melody brought her in for the drama, I believe. Could be. Pretty Mrs. G says seems like she was more concerned with her executive producer hat this season. Could have been. Let's hurry up and get through this one to go to the next show. Maurice and Kimmy. Y'all. I like Maurice. But the more I watch Maurice, He is just a more palatable version of Marceau. He and Marceau are very much alike. And to anybody out there who wants to be quote unquote successful and who still wants a wife, a husband, a children, you're really going to have to sit down with yourself and think about what success means, what it looks like to you, and what you're willing to sacrifice for that success. I don't know what Maurice is doing now that he's finished law school. They haven't made it clear if he's at a big law firm. You know, I'm struggling to figure out why he's pulling these types of hours where he said he's up at he doesn't go to sleep until 3 a.m. and then he's back up at 7 or 8. But sir, you cannot have everything you want exactly the way you want it at all times. You wanted your son, fought for your son, and I admire that. You wanted your son, you wanted to be a presence in his life because you know the struggle for young Black men, especially once they hit late middle school, high school age. But that just doesn't mean having him in the house with you, Maurice. You have to be present in his life. That doesn't mean he knows you're at the house. And if something pops off at school, you're going to come through and discipline him. A lot of children, and you know, before y'all get into the whole, you don't even have kids. I don't. But my mama raised me. I have nieces, nephews, cousins, people that I've helped raise. And I have a degree in psychology, and I know a lot about human behavior. And I've seen a lot of young boys that struggle, even in two-parent households, once middle school and high school hit. That is when you have to be the most present. And again, present isn't just, I'm going to discipline you if you get in trouble. And that is what Kimmy was trying to tell Maurice. The boy looks up to him. He wants his father's attention. And if they can't get your attention in good ways, they will start to get your attention in bad ways. Does that mean every child whose parents don't give them the attention or affection that they want will try drugs or, vape or do things that are quote unquote against the rules? No, but a lot of them do. Teenage time is a natural time for defiance. It's a natural time to get out there and explore and experiment with things. You have to get ahead of that. And the fact that he sat there and said, I didn't think that was a middle school conversation. I thought that was a high school conversation. 8th and 9th grade is like the same thing. So let me guess, you haven't talked to him about sex either. You would want to. You should have did that like 3 years ago. Like, I'm just not here for people saying, I want my child, I want my child, I want my child. And then you get your child in the same city and don't do anything to be active with them. And I'm not saying he's not doing anything. Let me be clear for you, like he told Kimmy, you're making it seem like I do nothing. No, she didn't say that. She's saying you need to be more present. And y'all, I'm sorry, the communication, Kimmy is better than me. She must really love him. And she said she waited 7 years for that ring. 7 years is a long time to never feel like you're a priority in someone's life. He has struggled with balance, according to Kimmy, for the entirety of their relationship. This is why she was pushing, not necessarily against Monster coming, but for Maurice to be more active. And it still didn't work. That's really sad that he can't see that. And then he sat there and said, oh, I'm not going to half-ass anything for work. But you're half-assing in the rearing of your son. You will let your son suffer for your need to be successful. This is why I'm a fan of counseling. He needs a third party to explain it to him. Maybe that will help. He really needs to reanalyze his priorities and really think about what success means to him. I really hope success for him is just not money and accolades, because children don't care about that. You can say, oh, I'm making this money to put you in the private schools, to set you up for life, to get you into a better college, so you won't have student loans. That's great. The kid is going to remember that you were never at the football game. You were never at the basketball game. And the only time you came in when it was time to discipline him for something. You never gave him time, attention, affection on the front end, or rarely instead of never. He didn't tell Kimmy. And I know people, even in where it's the original mother and father, the same mother and father, I should say, like if this were him and Kyle that were still married and he got in trouble, I know sometimes people will say, I won't tell your mama. I won't tell your daddy. And I will just say, I think that's not a good thing, because you are encouraging your children. You're encouraging secrecy amongst parents, and the parents are supposed to be the team. So even if you say, I'm not going to tell her, there's a way you have to go back to that parent and say, you know what? Hey, don't blow a gasket. This happened at his school. I'm handling it. But the other parent needs to know. Why do they need to know? Because you run into messy mouth witches like Tiffany in the streets. And you get your own child's tea from somebody who you shouldn't be hearing it from. Kimmy should not have been caught off guard like that. And that wasn't her fault. I've seen people say, oh, Kimmy should have had his back. Had his back on what? She didn't know anything. I can't have your back if I don't know. So even if Kimmy had respected, hey, I'm not going to confront Monster about that, his dad is going to deal with it, she should have at least knew, hey, this happened. I got a call from the school today. I'm dealing with it. But she should never hear business from her household from somebody on the streets. So it was a bad move. I'm sorry. Like Maurice wants to control everything, just how he's like his brother. He wants to be the alpha male, the dominant, I lead my family. But you have to consider the other household members and your wife while you're leading the family. The communication is just non-existent. How he kept trying to tell Kimmy, oh, you did such a good job with Jalen, but then you dismiss everything that she tells you about Monster. She's raised a young black man before. And you are a black man, and I get that, but your child may be different because he has your genes and his mom's genes. So he needs to really work on that. The last dinner scene where they're waiting on Kiowa, they needed, Carlos King, we need timestamps. I need a time lapse. How long were they sitting there waiting? Because they ordered their food, ate, and everything, and Kiowa and her husband weren't there. Were they texting to say, hey guys, our flight ran late. We just got to the hotel. We're on our way. Like, that was just rude in general. But for, again, Maurice to put Kimmy in this situation where she has to sit down with his ex-wife and her new husband to discuss the child. And then he says, make sure you talk about this. Make sure you do that. And Kim's like, I'm not. And I'm sure there are going to be people, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, that say, oh, you should be a team player. You should discuss the issues. No, she shouldn't. He already doesn't really let her into the inner workings of what's going on with Monster. So what is she to sit there and say? And she said, right, I'm not going to speak for you. Neither would I. Kudos to Kimmy. The previews, we see Kiowa and her husband still walk up. Again, I want to know how late they were exactly. And that shows how horrible Maurice is doing with this work-life balance. I'm sorry. A phone call needed to be made. Either way. You either needed to make a phone call to the business meeting people and say, I'm sorry, guys, I'm not going to make this meeting. Do it without me or we'll have to reschedule. Or two, a phone call needed to be made to Kiowa and Zay to say, hey, y'all are an hour late. I had another meeting scheduled. We'll have to reschedule this. You don't leave your wife there with basically strangers and people that she's had a contentious relationship with in the past to speak on your behalf. No, sir. I would have got up and packed up my stuff. When he got his to-go box, mine would have been to go too. We would have closed out that ticket and been gone. You're not going to leave me here holding the bag. Like, that's ridiculous. Alethea Hill says, when he got to leave, I would have been right with him. Yes, ma'am. Francois says, I would have left after I ate my food. Absolutely. High Vibe says, Maurice leaves Kimmy to play bad cop and then he runs. Absolutely. Miss J says, I knew Maurice was about to be tripping from the first episode when he pulled up in that extra flashy truck. I'm like, yeah, he feeling himself too much now. The game going to his head. Helene Easley says, that's so rude and disrespectful. Absolutely. All right, y'all. That's it. We didn't get anything else from Tiffany and Lewis. Thank God. Destiny, I think she recovered well. She was able to continue her brunch despite the disrespect from Tiffany. We learned that her and Kimmy realized that they do have a lot in common. They are cool with each other now. And so it's good. It's good to see the relationships evolve. But y'all, I love the show. Can't wait for next episode. Now, Real Housewives of Potomac. This episode to me was very boring, very lackluster. It was a filler episode. You had a couple of things going on, but not really. Giselle, I don't know which one of y'all, who told y'all? Who? What? Come on, y'all, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. I want to see some ones. If you are here for Giselle and Robin's podcast, I want to know which one of y'all was over on Instagram telling them that they needed to start a podcast. I don't see anybody. Y'all can own up. Y'all can own up. Come on now. Don't be silent, supporters. Not zeros. Y'all the type of people that keep Arby's in open and stuff, ain't it? Everybody wants to know who actually eats at Arby's. Faisa said, who said that? Who said that? Girl, somebody said it. And then the pink and green, I was like, maybe they're trying to pay homage to their respective sororities. I don't usually like seeing pink and green. I mean, pink and red, sorry. Apologize. Pink and red. I don't usually like seeing pink and red in a photo shoot together. They're too close. It's not, you should have contrast and to me, even a nice purple would have really set Robin's skin tone off. A nice blue. Okay, whatever. But I don't, Reasonably Shady for you all who want to talk about you all who might want to check out their podcast. It's going to be called Reasonably Shady. Giselle is the shady part and Robin is the reasonable one. I don't see it playing out. I really don't see it playing out. Giselle is just back to her normal behavior of not telling us anything about her own life. Instead, she wants to exploit everybody around her. So last season, she was trying to exploit Jamal, except no one really believed that. Now she's exploiting her children. I'm sorry, but if my child was struggling with passing an exam, I would not put them going to take the exam yet again on national television. especially when she has no emotional intelligence, and her own children told her that. She does not know how to react when someone is upset or hurting. It comes off very cringe. It comes off not being a supportive mother. It literally looked like you're pimping your own children for a storyline. Get that girl a tutor. Put her in a good driving school and let her have it. Like, you're showing her failures. Her siblings are siblings, so they don't know what to do. They're, kikiing. And then you were shading your own child. Like, come on, Giselle, just be better. Do better. Thank you so much for the super chat, Monique. Good morning, players from Hawaii. I've got to head out, but I will definitely catch the replay. Much love and aloha. Aloha, sis. Yes, catch the replay. Go have you some fun and enjoy this Sunday. I know it's probably beautiful in Hawaii. Vanessa says that was horrible. I'm so done with jizzing. Miss Rochelle says the pressure of the cameras, that was wrong. Exactly. It's like when on Real Housewives of New Jersey, when Melissa Gorga was trying to talk to her child, 14, 15-year-old, about sex. Why would you do that? Even if, have the real conversation behind the camera. They've grown up with the cameras now, so they know what it is. Let them know, hey, I need to talk to you for real, but when the cameras come, I'm going to do this. You don't catch these children off guard like that. To me, that's just not cool as a parent. You should always try to protect your kids. Always. Next, it was Karen. There wasn't much going on with Karen. I liked to see her interaction with Raven. It's wonderful to see that Raven is out of college. She's in the workforce. She's in New York, kicking butt and taking names. It was cute to see Karen trying to cook. And then she had her sit down with Mia, which we'll talk about later, where Mia is recounting the text that she got from Giselle wanting to go for drinks. And it was good. I like Karen. And to me, all the things that Giselle and Robin are trying to accuse Karen of are really what Giselle and Robin does. Karen, in my opinion, does not try to influence someone else's perspective of Giselle and Robin before they get to know them. She's like, look, this is my experience with them, but you are free to make your own opinions. And it's what grown people do. I don't block anybody from liking anybody who I dislike, because they may treat you in a completely different way. We're not teenagers. People can have different relationships with different people. Now, are you going to be my best friend with my worst enemy? Probably not. But I'm not going to be the one to say it. I'm just going to remove myself from your presence too. I'm not going to make you choose, honey, at all. Ashley, we see them go out to a dinner. Ashley is ready to pop. They actually have to leave the dinner early because she's starting to have some, what she thinks might be some pains, maybe some early contractions. But as they sit down at dinner, Michael is telling her that he wants to go into a new business. He wants to start investing in movie productions. And Ashley's like, are you sure you want to do that? We have 2 young children. We have one. We're about to have the second one. Honey, Ashley is worried about her bag. She's worried about the bag. She's worried that her children and their financial future could be in jeopardy. I think, look, make Michael set them up some trust funds that you have control over, not him. He can do one for you as well. And that money is not to be touched. I will say movie production is a very risky business. The payoff can be huge, but it is very financially burdensome. So if he has long money like that and he has partners and investments, let him have it, honey. But she was definitely worried about their well-being in the long run. Robin. Y'all, Robin is so out of pocket. Robin is so out of pocket. Wait a minute. Hold on, Simone. Not Simone. LOL. I thought Michael was talking about porn movies. Well, girl, you know, he could have been. He could have been. But let's hope he meant like actual blockbuster movies that come to theaters that you can take your children to. Robin. We already talked about that podcast that no one wants. Why did she allow herself, a fully grown woman in her early to mid 40s, to be a pit bull for Giselle Bryant? Why? Why? Y'all, tell me. I need it to make sense. Now, the text that was sent to Mia at the photo shoot for the podcast, Giselle and Robin decide that they want to get to know Mia without Karen around. They want to know Mia, who she is, what she's about. They like her so far. They think she's very transparent, but they think Karen is influencing her in some type of way. So they decide they want to invite her to lunch or to go out for drinks, but without Karen. And they let her know that in the text, that Karen is not welcome to their little sit down and powwow. That doesn't go over well with Mia. She responds very cut and dry, very businesslike. The only thing we need to talk about is business. If you all have some business that you want to talk about, feel free to reach out to I'm paraphrasing, so it may be a little wrong. She either told them to reach out to her assistant or told them to let her know, and she will have her assistant reach out to them with the date and time that she's available. So Giselle is the one who sent the text to Mia. Mia responds to Giselle, but I'm guessing that she sent it in a group text where Robin is included. Robin is the one who decides to clap back and respond to Mia and say, oh, that's very offensive, blah, 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 blah. Girl, who are you? Giselle sent the text. Mia responded to Giselle. If Giselle took offense to Mia's tone or what she said, Giselle should have been the one saying that, not you. Giselle is 4 or 5 years older than you and fully capable of speaking for herself. Why do you feel the need to constantly jump in and be Giselle's pit bull or attack dog? Like, I really like Robin, y'all. This is why I have been an advocate of her and Giselle being split up for like the last 2 or 3 seasons now. Because I like her as a person. I think she has a lot to offer. But while she's with Giselle, I can't get with her. And I don't respect people who allow other people to use them as whipping dogs and pit bulls and to do their dirty work. Let that grown woman stand on her own 2 feet, 10 toes down. She can dish it. She should be able to take it. But you keep interjecting yourself in something that really has nothing to do with you. It's sad. It's really sad to see. You don't have a backbone when it comes to Juan or your children, the people who you should really care about. But when it comes to Giselle, girl, so sad to see. Really sad to see. Candace, y'all who have watched me for a while know I'm not a Candace fan. However, I'm not a hater. So I congratulate her on her new endeavor. The stuff with Chucky Thompson didn't work out. She's self-funding her own music and her own singing career. So I pray that her investment works out for her. Like, I want it to pan out Ann Houghton, thank you for the super chat, sis. Tony Robinson says, yes, Robin, why are you here? Earl. Vanessa Camelgate says, Robin is weak. Jizzy runs her, kids run her, and her husband. Exactly. Helene Easley says, Robin, depart from Giselle's ass or go away. Thank you. Nina Gordon says, Robin's race is debatable to me. She reminds me of the white woman that pretended to be black on national TV a while back. Oh, wow. Okay. Auntie Eva says, Robin and Giselle's flunky, dedicated to the role. SMH. Althea Hill says, I don't care for her either, but good luck. Yes. She has a dream. So, let it go. The theme of her party to me was whack. Peace out house party, I guess. It would have went better if she said it like that, like peace out house party, instead of peace out house party. Sorry, I'm a English and grammar nerd. It doesn't roll off the tongue the same way. It doesn't. I like themes of parties to be catchy, to be, oh girl, I want to go to that party. I didn't want to go to that party. I didn't, and it wasn't just because it was at Candace's house. I just wouldn't want to go. It didn't sound fun. Also, they start playing Never Have I Ever. I would not play Never Have I Ever with that group of women. For y'all who've never played Never Have I Ever, I've played it since college. It's usually like this young adult. Well, I ain't gonna call it just a young adult. I was introduced to it in college as a young adult. It's a drinking game. Everyone says, the person whose turn it is says, never have I ever went skydiving. And the people who have gone skydiving have to drink. Now, when you're in college and when you're a grown adult, like at other types of parties, kind of like the party this was, or like bachelorette parties and stuff like that, people play this game with a heavy sexual theme. It's really usually a lot of sex questions, a lot of sexual innuendo. And because I know that that's how that game tends to trend, I would not play that game with these type of women because they lie. The game is only fun, in my opinion, if people are transparent and open and willing to be girlfriends in the moment. But that means you have to trust the people you playing the game with, and you have to find other women that are open and transparent and willing to be giggly girlfriends for that amount of time. It's no fun, as in what we saw on that show for the, little part that we saw, where Mia was basically the only one being open and transparent. Again, it's a way for messy chicks like Robin and Giselle to sit there and be all slick and watch everybody else drink as a way to find out everybody else's business without sharing any of their own. So I don't play that game most of the time now with a bunch of women for that reason. I learned that in college, that people just use that game as a way to get in your business. And then, even though it's supposed to be a girls' night or whatever, and what stays there, what happens there stays there, it never does. And people, try to get in your business in an attempt to spread it. But when you own your business, like Mia, not just those chiropractic offices, you own it. You can't use anything against me that I already told you and that I clearly didn't care about telling the world. So all of this stuff about Mia's vaginal rejuvenation or whatever operation she got on her lady parts is getting old. She spilled her own tea. She put herself on blast. You can only respect a person like that. The more Giselle and Robin and Wendy try to use this against her, to me, the more immature it makes them look. That lady is confident in what she did. I might not agree with it, but she did it. And honestly, none of them, with I guess maybe the exception of Robin, because I don't see any plastic surgery. She's never admitted to any plastic surgery that she's done, really have any room to talk. There are some women who look down on other women for having boob jobs like Wendy does, or BBLs like Wendy does. So this whole competition of which plastic surgery is worse, it gets old. Now, if I were Mia, I would not have shared that tidbit of information. I'm a fan of transparency. I think that was too transparent for me. But if she's that girl, she put it out there. So, it is what it is. Samaria said, I play it with couples. It was dangerous. Some people got in their feelings and end up fighting. Girl, yes, it can be a very rough game, especially if a man is learning about something his woman has done and he didn't know before. Y'all know some of these men. Oh Lord, I like men. I love them, but that ego, honey, that ego leaves a lot to be desired. Sometimes they don't know or fail to want to know or believe that you had a life before them. And I don't like playing games like that in mixed crowds for that reason. I don't have time to go home and have to answer when I did what, who I did it with, why I never told them that I did it, why I never done it with them. Nope, just not. But that's what I mean about when people say, I'll just say the Vegas thing. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It very rarely does. Very rarely. JJ says Wendy looks catty. Girl, Wendy looks a hot mess. So speaking of Wendy, there was really nothing for me to comment on this episode from Wendy. For Wendy, she's still irritating. She keeps trying these over-rehearsed reads. They don't flow off of her tongue. They don't feel authentic. She's trying too hard with the new body, with the new nose or whatever else she got done, allegedly the new skin. It's just a lot that's going on. Delicia Dismute, thank you, sis, for the super chat. High Vibe says, never a good idea to share all the fun in your past with your partner. Girl, never. Next show. Oh, nope. Sorry, y'all. Mia. So, like I kind of already covered Mia. I like Mia. She's straight, no chaser. She put Giselle in her place, and she saw what Giselle was trying to do, which I wish a lot of the ladies would wake up and see. Giselle was going straight for the divide and conquer. Straight for the divide and conquer. Which is what she always does. She doesn't want anyone to be Karen's friend. She doesn't want Karen to have friends. She wants to try to ice Karen out. So she was sending this text of, hey girl, let's get together. Because here's the thing. If Giselle just wanted to meet Mia and get to know Mia, why did Robin need to be there? If Robin just wanted to get to know Mia one-on-one and get to know her better, why did Giselle need to be there? So if, the Green-Eyed Bandits, the Super Twins, Batman and Robin, whatever you want to call them, if they can be tied at the hip, why can't Mia and Karen be tied at the hip? And I don't, Mia responded how she chose to respond. But I myself would not have taken lightly to somebody telling me who can and can't come somewhere. Because honestly, to me, that didn't even need to be stated. Hey, girl, me and Robin want to take you out for drinks. That's it. I don't know many people who get invited out for drinks and then just show up with other people. So for them to then inject not Karen, yeah, that would put me on guard as well. You can't tell, I'm grown. You can't tell me who I can and can't invite or who can and can't go somewhere with me. In fact, I probably would have said, okay, cool. One of y'all can only meet me then. I only want to meet with Giselle. I only want to meet with Robin. Make them stand on their own. But she gave it to her right. They didn't like how she gave it to her. A scholar, again, Robin keeps shooting herself in the foot. She keeps bringing friends on who are more interesting than her. Although, again, a scholar, I don't like when the friends of the cast or whatever start to get too involved with the main cast. Stay in your place. There's so much delusion in this room. Girl, where is the delusion? Point it out. Is it you showing up to somebody's warehouse in stilettos to pack boxes? I mean, everybody on that cast is overdressed and delusional half the time, including your friends, Robin and Giselle. So why are you involved, a scholar? No one asked you. I don't like this, as we talk about go along to get along gang. I don't like grown women grouping up to bully other grown women. Stand on your own. Then I'll be impressed. But all of this high school clique type mess, it's just, I'm over it, y'all. Althea Hill says a scholar was totally out of line, completely. High Vibe says asparagus can go. Not asparagus. Faisa says, Harpo, who this woman? Exactly. Pretty much G says, right. Girl, they were just, it was too much. All right. Done with RHOP. Let's get into Family or Fiance. I don't know if you all watched it. Like I told y'all about last week's episode, each week there is a new couple that is allegedly engaged. Some of these people, I don't think they're really engaged, but they're in a relationship. They're trying to make it long-term engagement in marriage, and their families are not here for it. So each week there's a different couple. This week we had, it comes on y'all, I'm sorry. It comes on right after Love and Marriage Huntsville. So this week we have Vanessa and Mitch. That's Vanessa, very pretty young lady. There's Mitch. He was very handsome. They had some issues though, y'all. It mainly stemmed, and I don't have all the names, y'all. I'm sorry. It's just too many names. Basically, each person on the show gets to bring 3 people from their side of the family. It could be a friend. It could be a family member to state what issues they have with them continuing on and being engaged or married. So the main players, Mitch bought his siblings. So 2 sisters and a brother. Vanessa bought her mother, her cousin, and her best friend. So the main issue in their relationship is Vanessa's mother thinking that Mitch was not good enough for Vanessa. Vanessa, from what I could gather, is an only child. Her mother is very proud of Vanessa and the work she put into Vanessa in raising her and making her the woman that she is. She has taught Vanessa to be a trophy wife, to always be put together. And so to that extent, Vanessa loves high end. She loves labels. She loves a man who can provide. Vanessa was married before. They don't tell us what happened with the marriage, but she is now divorced. And she allegedly met Mitch while she was still with the ex-husband. But Vanessa says they were in the middle of the divorce. Their marriage wasn't, they weren't like still intimate or anything like that. They had separated, and I don't know if exactly the divorce had been filed. The timeline was kind of murky, but she's divorced. In that marriage, though, Vanessa never wanted for anything. She had everything financially. She felt loved. So that's why I'm confused as to why the marriage ended. Her mother wants her back with her ex-husband. Mitch has been in different relationships before. He was also married before. And he has one daughter. The daughter is not his child biologically, but the daughter was the child of his ex-wife's. And when he met and married his ex-wife, the daughter was 3 years old, and he fell in love with her and basically became her dad. And even though he and her mother are divorced, he still views her as her child. He still spends time with her. From what I could get on the show, it seems like he picks her up maybe on the weekends and things, and they spend time like it was his biological daughter. Vanessa and her family, mainly her mother, were not happy with that. Did not understand why he would still be going around this little girl and taking care of her and providing for her since she was not his biological child. I just want y'all to know that made me sick to my stomach. I don't play with children. And when a man steps in and wants to be a dad to a child, that is a beautiful thing. And for Vanessa's mother to admit that she struggled being a single parent and want to deprive a child of a father and a father figure lets me know exactly what I need to know about her as a person, a woman, and what her soul looks like. Complete selfishness. She literally said that she wanted Vanessa to be the baby in the relationship. She wants her daughter to be the object of affection, the object of provision. If he didn't have any biological children, he should not want anything to do. The fact that I don't even know you and you want me to cut off a child that I've been around since they were 3 years old, how dare you, ma'am? Vanessa also says that she doesn't want to be a stepmom. She hasn't really had to have, she hasn't really developed much of a relationship with the young girl. And she basically wants Mitch all to herself. Well, see, there's an issue in wanting Mitch all to herself because Mitch is friendly. Mitch is friendly. Mitch, whenever he and Vanessa get into a fight or an argument and they break up, you know, all that breaking up to make up, he goes out and does his own thing. They've been apart for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, and by the time they get back together, Mitch already has new bodies under his belt. Mitch cannot be alone like a lot of men. For a while, he doesn't know how to just deal with the ebbs and flows of the relationship. And honestly, he says that when they break up, he thinks it's really over, so he moves on. He doesn't know how to deal with the pain of not being with her and loving her. He's never cared for a woman or loved a woman like this. So when she blows up at him and says it's over, it's done, he, gets on the best way he knows how. And a lot of times we hear this saying in the community, the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else. And Mitch takes that to heart. He likes to spread it low and wide, as they say. So they do these whole little things that each person in the couple has to do with the other family member or friends, where they get to know the person on a better basis. Vanessa's mother and friends were able to grill Mitch about the child that's in his life, and he explained that situation about his financial situation. He explains that he owns 3 properties, that he is an entrepreneur. From what I could gather, he's basically like a club promoter, and then he also has other entertainment investments in businesses that he does, but it wasn't really clear what he does. Vanessa's mom thinks Vanessa should be with a ball player or a movie star. And that's just interesting to me. I don't know too many women who encourage their daughters to chase after that type of man, especially when she was concerned with Mitch cheating. Because ball players and movie stars, I mean, that's all you're going to get for the most part is some cheating. So I guess she just felt like, like who was that Future and them used to say, you want to cry in the Nissan, or you want to cry in the Range Rover or whatever it is. Crying is crying, but I guess to some people, if money is your motivation, then that's what you'll do. Y'all, what was super crazy was when Vanessa and Mitch are talking once the families are back together for dinner, and Vanessa's mother was chastising Mitch about his cheating ways and wandering off with these other women. One of the women was allegedly a stripper. And so she's like telling Mitch, like, you need to stop this, blah, blah, blah. Your little thing gonna fall off. And Mitch lets her mother know that it's not little. She can ask her daughter if she needs a reference. And so his mother is rightfully offended and is like, you have been with him, you have sex with him unprotected after he goes to these women, you kiss him in the mouth. And Mitch is just like, yeah, and she loves it. Now, one thing, y'all, I ain't like Vanessa's mama from jump, but one thing that really bothered me about her, if someone tells you a name to call them, please call them that name. She kept calling that boy Mitchell, and that bothered the crap out of me. His brother, his sisters, Vanessa, Tracy, the relationship coach, everybody called this man Mitch. So it's apparently what he prefers to be called, and the mama kept calling him Mitchell. I know she was doing that to get on his nerves, but also she was doing it as like a, you can tell she's someone who wants something to be more than it is. So to her, Mitchell sounds like a more affluent name than Mitch. They go back with the relationship coach, and Mitch says, I think Vanessa's mom is really, although she talks about wanting Vanessa to be financially secure, I think she's really looking at it for herself, because she knows if Vanessa is financially secure, then Vanessa gonna slide some money over to her. The relationship coach, Tracy, disagreed and said that there were some other issues where Vanessa's mother was basically living vicariously through Vanessa. I agree with that, but I also agree with Mitch. Because y'all, Vanessa's mother, when they woke up the next day and came downstairs, Vanessa's mother had placed pictures of Vanessa and her ex-husband's wedding day in the living room. Like, literally told her she wants her to get back with her ex-husband. So Vanessa's mama was giving me a lot of Tina Turner's mama in What's Love Got to Do with It. The good sister Jennifer Lewis. She was giving me a lot of Jennifer Lewis in What's Love Got to Do with It. I really think she would sell that young lady to the highest bidder. She struggled her whole life raising this girl, and she thinks, I try not to paint things, you all, because I think sometimes, especially in entertainment, colorism is alleged too many times, but that's the feel that I got from her mother. She had this light-skinned baby with these beautiful dimples, and that was going to be her cash cow. I could be wrong. That's what I got from watching her mom on the show. Basically, though, it as it wraps up, the relationship coach, Tracy, tells Vanessa that she has to have a serious conversation with her mother about how her mother wants her to be perfect, how her mother tells the world that she's perfect and she's worthy of XYZ. She's doing that so much that Vanessa cannot even be her own person. Vanessa starts crying. She says she doesn't want her mother to cut her off if she has this type of conversation with her. But Vanessa agrees that the burden that her mother places on her is way too high. However, I was so sad, y'all, because this girl was like, I don't want to have this conversation with her. I can continue to live this life. It's not going to be that much longer. She's, I'm like, I'm looking at her mother like, that lady ain't that old. She looked like she's probably early 50s, mid 50s. She's like, once she dies or when I have to put her in the home, then I can live my life. What? Y'all, if any of y'all out there feel like that, please get counseling. Please stand up. It's very hard when you have a narcissistic parent. It's very hard when you have an emotionally, verbally, mentally abusive parent who is manipulative. It's very hard. But please get help and do not live your life like that. Like, that was a really sad point in the show for me when she said she was willing to be unhappy and play this role for her mother until the lady dies or gets put in a home. That is a hard life. And it is a life filled with regret. It's also a life filled with resentment. And eventually you're going to take that resentment out on your mother, on your children, if you have any, on your romantic partners. And that's not fair. Fix that stuff so you don't bleed on the people that didn't cut you. Like, that's horrible. Anyway, they have the conversation. Her mother is much more receptive to the conversation than what Vanessa thought she would be. That was another lesson, y'all. Sometimes we build things so far up in our heads and we make things so much bigger than they are that if we actually have the conversation and confront something head on, it's like, I remember I hated going to the doctor as a kid. I would, oh my God, it's going to be so bad. It's going to be so bad. Then when I got there, it wasn't really that bad. You know, you get a shot, it hurts, but it stops. So they have a conversation. The mother is like, I'm always proud of you. I've always been so proud of you. If you love Mitch, I will try to learn to see him a different way. And from there on, they put on this whole like happily ever after thing. They go through with the blessings. Each family member on each side, Mitch's brother and two sisters, all give their blessing. On Vanessa's side, her best friend and her cousin and her mother give the blessing that they move forward in this relationship. Well, I love watching through the end, y'all, because what this show does is after it's been taped, they go back, I guess, a month or two or so after the show has wrapped taping before it is actually shown to the nationwide audience, and they do a follow-up with the couple to see what happened once they left the house and once they quit filming the show. So in this follow-up, we learned that Mitch breaches Vanessa's trust again. That's a nice way of saying he's cheated again. And Vanessa has called off the engagement and their relationship is in limbo. Vanessa's mother regrets giving her blessing. To Vanessa and women who are like Vanessa, who may have them a Mitch, y'all got to decide what you can put up with and what you won't put up with. Because at this point, Mitch has cheated on this girl at least probably 5 times, if not more. Every time they break up, he gets a new woman. That means he it's either in him, like that's who he is, or he hasn't matured enough to know that that is not the automatic response you and your girlfriend or wife to when you and your girlfriend or wife get into a fight. So, you know, there's no need to cry about it, fight about it. You have to recognize who and what you have and what you're working with. And either you can take it or you can't. And if you're going to take it, like Tony Braxton and Mama Evelyn said, let that man cheat in peace. Don't be out here crying and cussing and fussing and calling your mama. He's telling you what he's going to do. If you marry him, he's going to keep doing it. Unless something happens to him and he can't. Meaning ED, or he gets in some type of accident. So, yeah, it was a good show. Lots of good conversations and topics. Next, Put a Ring on It, y'all. I really don't have much to say about Put a Ring on It. LaRonda and Sean, they're doing their same dance. Sean has decided that he can finally go on dates with other women and not be so attracted that he loses sight of the woman that he has at home. He struggled with that in the past of always having a side piece, always have, that was one reason why he didn't want to go on the dates, because when he was attracted to a woman or found her funny and entertaining, that he would act on that. He would want people to slide through later on at night. And he doesn't want to do that with LaRonda. So he came to that epiphany this week when he went on his date with the lady who was a model again and was able to engage with her. They had a couple of little sexual innuendo or banter, but he backed off of it pretty quickly and was able to engage with her without losing the sight of what he had and the love that he has for LaRonda. So he says he's done with the dates. He's ready to just focus on he and LaRonda. Jessica and Eric, same thing. Eric is out with this, what was she, Brazilian or something, lady with the accent. She came to the house to pick him up, and this is the first lady that Jessica has gone to the door to see and introduce. So the lady says that she's an esthetician. Jessica is like, oh, I'll make me and Eric an appointment. And she was like, oh, no, girl, you don't have to make us an appointment. Jessica lets her know I make all of the appointments. Then Jessica gives them shots to take with pictures of her on the shot glass. So you could tell she was bothered. She was a little insecure. So she was trying to, mark her territory, honey. Eric goes out with the new lady. This is their second date. But he says he's still willing to work on what he and Jessica has. He doesn't think that he has been enticed away from Jessica. This 504 girl says, IDK, I feel LaRonda don't want to be with Sean. Yeah, I do too. JJ says they seem confused. JJ also says Sean seems clingy. He very much is. Denise who says something is sneaky about Sean. Absolutely. Sean is a mess. And so the real only thing that happened on this episode, y'all, was Alexia and Darian. Darian decides that he wants to not date Kai anymore. The only person he's dated, I think he may have had one date early on that he didn't want to date again. But since he's been with Kai, he's been on like 4 or 5 consecutive dates with Kai. Kai has made it clear that she is interested. She is open. She has said that she could have Darian if she wanted him and take him from Alexia. I was Alexia. Kai could have Darian. She already spent 14 years of her life with a man who she doesn't even have children with, but he has children younger than 14. So his track record comes back to hit him. Darian says, things with Alexia and I are going great. I'm going to cut off interaction with Kai. The doctor on the show says, well, you have to sit down with Kai since you all have been on so many dates and give her closure. Let her know the decision you've made and why you've made it. So, the end of the show, we get Darian sitting down with Alexia and letting her know that he's decided to, Darian sitting down with Kai and letting her know that he's decided to work on his relationship with Alexia. He doesn't want to move forward with her. He really wants to make things work between him and his girl. Well, Kai starts to let us know everything, honey. Kai says, well, were you thinking about Alexia and wanting to make things work with her when we were having our great sex? Did you tell her about that? Y'all, that was it. She dropped the bomb. Everybody was like, oh. Now, I think we all knew that you could see the interaction between Kai and Darian and see that they had of a lot of sexual chemistry. But I didn't think he had actually had sex with the girl. And I don't think he bargained that he would have to sit down and break it off with her, because none of the other castmates had to do that. However, none of the other castmates had been on so many consecutive dates with one person. So I don't think he knew he was going to get put on blast like that on national television. Play silly games, win silly prizes, honey. That's all I can say for Darian. We'll see next episode where Alexia finds out that Darian has in fact cheated on her with Kai, was actually sexually active with Kai. And we'll see what Alexia does. I hope she makes the right decision. I hope she chooses her after all of these years. For that timeline, they had to have started dating when she was like 18 or 19. So it's one thing to be a young girl in your 20s and do the breakup and makeup game, the back and forward. But girl, you're in your early mid 30s now. It's time for you to make some serious decisions. You want a family. You want children. As much as we don't like it, and yes, God is able and capable. You can have a baby when you're 50. However, we do have time clocks and they tick. Girl, do not waste all of your time. You're a basketball player. You know about the shot clock running out. Don't waste all of your time on this troll, please. Darian is not worth your time. He wasn't worth the 14 years. He's not worth another 14 seconds. Please let this man go. I see in the preview, he's doing his best Keith Sweat begging. He is getting on bended knee. He's holding hands. No. The man said he wants to get married because you want to get married. That's not what you want. Y'all shouldn't want somebody who wants to get married because you want to be married. You want somebody who wants to be married too. You want somebody, more importantly, who wants to marry you. All of the things that he said while they were sitting on their couch talking was nothing but red flags. You want children. First, a couple of episodes ago, he said, I guess I could have one with her. I don't have one with her yet, but these other women. What? And then he says he wants the child because he thinks it's going to solidify your relationship. If that ain't the most asinine thing I've ever heard, if anything, children cause even more stress in relationships because you're introducing new roles, new responsibilities. Come on. Like, you want someone who wants to be a father, not someone who thinks a child is going to fix your relationship that's already broken. Now he's going to have a new excuse to keep that condo when the baby is crying all night and he can't deal with it. He's going to run off to his other house. Girl, don't have no baby by this man. Do not. Francois says Darian is for the streets. Yes, he is, Francois. Tony Robinson is throwing all of the red flags. High Vibe is saying, where's Alexia's family and friends? Girl, she probably done cut them off because they telling her to leave. Black girls getting their shift together. Oh, girl, I like that. You got a IG or YouTube, y'all go follow her. That's dope. Darian is emotionally immature. He absolutely is. Tay B says Alexia and Kai are both fighting for a dusty and dirty prize. Absolutely, y'all. Look, these couples this season are the pits. Last season's couples seemed like they had better hold on their relationships. These ones just have so many issues that I just, LaRonda and Sean are probably going to try to make something work. But I think Jessica and Eric and definitely Alexia and Darian need to be done. Done. All right, y'all. High Vibe says this is a toxic season. Girl, yes it is. Last thing, y'all. Raising Kanan. My favorite. I love this show. Sorry, hit the wrong thing. So what I'm going to be talking about is from episode 3, not the episode that debuted like last night at midnight that you can watch today, because I want to give y'all time to watch that. I haven't even watched it because I don't want anything that I say to bleed into something that happened this episode. I want to make sure I keep them separate. So last week's episode, we pick up where from episode 2, where Kanan's uncle, Lulu, has killed his friend in his clique, Derek, D-Wiz. And so throughout the show, Kanan and Davina both are, Kanan and his cousin Jukebox are looking at the obituary for D-Wiz. I'm not going in order. These are just my thoughts on the whole episode, y'all. But I'm actually, I guess, starting from the end. I didn't grow up in the streets, don't live a street life. So I'm always interested in watching shows that are shot from that perspective. And I've always heard things about people who were involved in the killing of someone's loved one, then going to the person's house to show their respects. And I always was like, my God, like that's a different level of disrespect. Like that's a whole different, like I always, my different things. I have a bottom to my petting. Even when I'm doing dirt, I have certain rules that I play by. This would be one of them. I could not in good conscience know that I had something to do. Maybe I didn't pull the trigger because RHOP didn't pull the trigger. Her brother did. She called for it. I could not in good conscience know that I took someone's loved one from them and I then go sit down to pray with the loved one. This woman went to this boy's mama's house and cried and prayed. Well, she wasn't crying, but she prayed with her. Like, whew. It gives me a different perspective for people who had to live that life. It makes you understand why street people are it's so hard to break their walls down, and it's so hard for them to trust people. To know that I'm trying to figure out what Kanan is going to do when he figures out that his mother and uncle had his friend killed and killed his friend. Like, the insight is astounding on that. It's just like, wow. So that was the end, but that was kind of a theme throughout the show of D-Wiz dying. Another thing that we see in the show is Kanan getting surprised, having a surprise introduction to Symphony, which is the bartender at one of the bars. But now his mama's little boo or whatever. They've been getting it in pretty much every day, every night when Kanan is in the streets or at school. And Symphony has a paper he has to do. He's getting his master's in policy or public planning or something like that. But he has a paper that's due. And Rock is like, oh, I have a laptop that you can use. And so he goes and gets Kanan's laptop, and Kanan gets home and he's like, he sees Symphony sitting there with no shirt on, typing on his computer. He's like, who the F are you? And his mama steps in real fast to check him. That was a lot of Oedipus complex. That gave a lot of Oedipus complex tease, which a lot of young boys who are raised by mothers have. And it's not the child's fault. The Oedipus complex occurs usually when kids are younger. And you can see it. You can see it in girls. In girls, it's called the Electra complex. So the Oedipus complex is Sigmund Freud's theory of children having, it's not really conscious, but an unconscious sexual desire for their opposite sex parent and being very protective and territorial over said parent. And it occurs even when there is a married couple, right? So even when the mom and dad have been together and this is their child, you'll see the child when they get to be, sometimes it starts really early, like 1, but like 2, 3, 4, they like don't want to see the parents kiss, and they push if it's a boy, they push the father away so that they can kiss the mother. And if it's a girl, she pushes her mother away so that she can kiss the daddy and stuff like that. So it starts out like that. But when you have single parent dynamics, and in Kanan's position, like his father, I think, is in jail, and who was his stepfather is dead. Or either both of them are dead. Either way, he hasn't had a strong father figure in his life, aside from his uncles. So to now see his mother with a man, even though he didn't catch them in the act, he's a teenager. He's not dumb. There's a man with no shirt on in my mother's room on my computer that he's never seen before. And apparently, Rock didn't really have men stay over at the house. So this is new to him. So he's on guard. He's the man of the house. How dare there be another man here in his spot? He can't, he wasn't going for it. It was a necessary interaction to see. It was a good interaction, but it's going to lay the groundwork, you can tell, for stuff that is to come, because Rock makes it very clear to Symphony, because Symphony tries to step in when Rock is going off on Kanan, like, don't ask me about who's in my house. This is my house. And Symphony is like, if I was his age and I saw a dude with no shirt on, I would be mad too. Rock shuts him down as well. Then later he goes back to apologize, and she's just like, it's cool, but nothing and no one will ever come between me and my son. For me, that was a lot of foreshadowing. I don't know how long Symphony is going to make it around this family, but something's going to happen, and I think she's going to have to make a decision between Kanan and Symphony. That's just how I see it. Next, we see, y'all, men, I know people don't like listening to Steve Harvey or whatever, but one thing that Steve Harvey says that I do find some truth in is that men will do whatever they have to do to impress the woman that they want. So Kanan sees, he's in the stash house again. He sees Davina, his childhood crush, the girl who was the girlfriend to Buck 20, who he and his friend D-Wiz killed, walking past, strolling her sister along. He runs out to talk to her. She asks about if Kanan knew about D-Wiz. He said, he heard about it, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't really give his full interaction. But while she's strolling her sister, she has a power tool in it. He's like, you going to build something? He's like, nah, it was my dad's. Formula and diapers aren't cheap. So like her mother showed up at the school popping off last week, and I said, I don't think her mother really takes care of them. now we see that to be true. She's the one always with the child. She's the one making sure her sister is fed. So Kanan doesn't like this. He doesn't like seeing Davina have to sell things and go out of her way to help her. That protection and provision kicks in. That innate part of him as a man. He wants to help her. So he's sick of sitting in the stash house. He goes to his Uncle Marvin. Uncle Marvin is the knucklehead uncle. Uncle Marvin proves not to be a good influence. So Uncle Marvin gives Kanan his first bag of dope to sell. He tells him what the ratio should be when he splits it up to his customers. He tells him how much he should sell it for. He tells him how much he's going to have to pay him back, although he's giving him a family discount. And that is how Kanan starts selling drugs, how he gets into the actual family business of standing on a corner. He goes to a park and he sells these drugs. We later find out that he uses the money that he made to go buy groceries and I guess Pampers and stuff for Davina and takes them over to Davina's house for her and her baby sister. When a man wants you, he gonna do whatever he has to do. Little boys and anybody who may be watching this, please don't go out and sell drugs. But it shows you that, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. He wanted her. He saw that she was in need. He was going to do whatever he had to do to get her what she needed. Next, the other part, not next, but another part of the show that I want to touch on, we see Al B. Sure's baby boy. I'm sorry, y'all. Whenever I see this man, he ain't no boy anymore. Man, all I can think about is he looks just like his daddy. So Quincy Brown, the son of Al B. Sure and Kim Porter, is in the show. His character's name is Crown Camacho. He is a record producer, and Kanan's uncle Lulu is his supplier for his cocaine. He comes to bring the supply. Lulu brings his girlfriend Jessica, which is Kanan's friend's Famous's sister. And so Jessica is in awe with all the studio equipment and the setup that Crown Camacho has. She is, you know, hyping her brother because we all know Famous wants to be a rapper. When Kanan and Jukebox were in the park trying to sell their things that they needed to sell, Jukebox sells boosted goods. Kanan is now selling dope. Famous leaves to go with the group that's rapping in the corner. So Jessica is like, Lulu, did you tell Crown about Famous, my brother? Like, he raps. He could be in. Lulu's like, nah, it ain't crossed my mind. But Lulu goes over to the studio equipment and he's mesmerized by everything that's there. He's asking questions to the sound and the audio engineer. He wants to know what this button does, what that button does. It reminded me of, y'all remember in the Jackson 5 movie that came on cable with like Lawrence Fishburne and Angela Bassett and all of these people, when the person who was playing Michael Jackson's character went up to the soundboard with Barry Gordy. And Joe Jackson was like, don't touch that boy. And Barry was like, no, ask questions, learn. For me, Lulu looked like a little kid again, right? And you could tell that Lulu had a dream at one point, and music was his dream. The stuff with Crown Camacho, which is Quincy's character, there was a little flirtation going on there. And again, I think a lot of foreshadowing. I don't see Crown Camacho lasting long, especially if Jessica goes back around. Jessica was being very manipulative. And a lot of this show is showing me just in society how women can influence everything. We can use our feminine wiles for good or evil. And a lot of women in this show, not necessarily evil, but survival, they're using their feminine wiles and manipulating these men to get what they need and or they want. I think that's gonna work badly for Crown Camacho because Lulu is the enforcer. And I don't think he'll have a hard time shutting Crown Camacho up and shutting him down if he gets too close to Jessica. So I hope for both his sake and Jessica's sake that they stay away. But I really liked seeing the development of Lulu's character and showing how enamored he was in that music studio. And then Jessica was, trying to get herself out of hot water for being too flirty with Crown, saying like, I believe in you. I see that in you. You could be Crown. You could be this big music producer. Like, you can go beyond the family business. And I can only imagine how hard it feels to want something different than the family business, but you feel obligated. You're born into the family business. He felt like he had no choice. And for me, when we watch these types of shows, it's like the lessons you can take and apply to your own life or just the lives around you. So I'm very passionate about like the schools to prison pipeline. I'll talk about that later. I'm getting too deep on this kind of stuff. But when you see young boys, especially with dreams, and it's just like this one little thing that defers their dream, and deferred dreams are what is at the core of a lot of the quote unquote toxicity that we see in our relationships. People who wanted things, who had goals, who had aspirations, but for whatever reason, they feel like life wouldn't let them get there. They feel stifled in that they can't do what they really want to do because they're obligated to other people and other things. Lulu is obligated. He feels obligated to his family business and to his sister. He's not going to let his sister be out here in these streets by herself, and they know they can't depend on Marvin. But you could tell that his heart was in music. So one of the things that I always like to do here is just a little enlightenment. So my mom was an English teacher, and so I've always grown up with literature and reading and writing and poems. So whenever I think about dreams, being a dream deferred, I always think about this poem by Langston Hughes, which is really short and sweet. Dreams. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field frozen with snow. So like I tell y'all all the time, go for your dreams. I don't care how old you are. It will benefit you. It will benefit your family in the long run. You being a whole person, you being a fulfilled person, you being a goal-driven person will do nothing but encourage your children, your spouse, your loved ones, the people around you. Don't let your dreams die. If you all don't know who Langston Hughes is, get to Googling. That's your homework for today, for this week. I love Langston Hughes. He's an African-American poet from the 20th century, so 1900s. But he was one of our acclaimed African-American men that we should all know about. I've had some type of version of this poem either framed or like in my journal, just to always remind you, like, if you are not dreaming, you aren't with us anymore. Like, you're not dreaming, you're dead. We don't want to be that. We don't want to be people walking around with no goals, no visions, no anything. But you got to put actions with your dreams. Don't just let them be dreams. Put actions with them so that you can get them done. And you don't want to be bitter and ends up like Lulu, killing people, killing teenagers, right? So the last thing that I wanted to talk about with the episode was RHOP again, the woman, the mother of the family, is orchestrating everything. When the episode opens up, Rock's corner boys are hit by Detective Howard, which is Omar Epps' character. We saw him meet up with the competing drug distributor Unique a few episodes ago against Rock, and he's betting on Unique's click to win. So he and the rest of the police do this stakeout on Rock's corner boys, and a lot of them get pinched up. So Rock goes to the big dog, the quiet man in the corner at his mother's bingo hall, and is able to coerce one of the distributor's plugs, to give her the time and location of Unique's drop. Once she gets that information, she gives it to Detective Howard, and the police are able to recover all of Unique's drugs, and that starts a war. So when it goes off, we get into next episode, which is coming out right now, y'all, and we'll see how that war continues to affect them. But Rock is making big moves, and we'll just see how it affects her and the rest of the family and Kanan. So that's it. That's all, y'all. Again, this is running way too long. I gotta figure out a way to get this stuff down, y'all. I love y'all. I'm gonna drop the link if anybody wants to come on, and you all can discuss any of the shows that we discussed. Just Nelly says, I had to learn that poem in school. Yes, it's a great poem. Raquel says, Omar Epps looks like a dirty cop. He does. It's so funny. From that group of guys, I don't know if it's the extra weight he's put on or what, but Omar, he hasn't aged to me the same way that like Lorenz Tate and Marsh Chestnut and Michael Ealy. I didn't even know Michael Ealy turned like 48 the other day. I was like, he's 48? I never knew that. So don't forget, y'all, when you come in, you have to show your face. So let's see. How are you? Just turn off your other screen because you can hear the feedback.
Does it sound better now?
Yes. Hey, girl.
How you doing, Plez?
How are you?
I am so great today.
I love your name.
Thank you.
What's your name?
My government name is Ursula.
Ursula?
Yeah.
Hi, Ursula. So what is, well, you can comment on anything you want to comment on, but when I saw your comment, I was like, Black girls getting their shift together. I like it. It is a clever play on words, and I'm all about the shift and the pivot. So I like it.
Exactly. Exactly. And there is a genesis to the name of it. But before I get into that, you know what? You are such a beautiful soul. Oh my God. It is so authentic. And I know that's why everyone is drawn to you. You are just beautiful, literally. You have this aura around you that you probably don't even see. You don't. I watch you on some of your lives, and I'm like, this sister is just amazing.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, you're awesome.
Thank you.
But the shift is because I had to get my shit together, and through mental health and wellness, which is my platform, I love talking about the shift. And I love what you put on about the Langston Hughes. That resonated with me about chasing your dreams. And I was thinking, if anyone knows what the number 168 means. If not, I'll explain.
Explain.
So 168 is literally how many hours are in a week. So when you chase that dream, like myself, I've chased a dream and pseudo passions, and now I'm here at my age now. But some people, if they know that they're gonna die within a week, what are you gonna do in 168 hours? And we should treat every day like it's 168 hours and just go for it, because you never know what can happen tonight, 3-4 days from now. You really don't. And that really resonated with me when you put that poem up. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad it did. Like I said, that's for me as a person. I'm always like, goal setting and what's new, what should I do next, or what are things. And sometimes that's looked down on. Some people might think you're flighty, or you're not serious enough or more. But I think, again, if you're not dreaming, you're dead. Like, you can always learn something new. You can always grow. It doesn't have to be this big elaborate thing. When I talked about the video when I first came back, the joy within, one of the new things I do or checked off of my goal list or to-do list was to learn how to swim. It's not this big monumental thing. I just went and took some swimming lessons at a local place, but it was something important to me because whenever outside opens back up and I feel comfortable traveling again and stuff, although I'm a fire sign, I'm very drawn to water. I love the beach. I love to, go places and do different excursions. And in doing those things, I'm held back because, I can't go to Jamaica and jump off the cliff like I've seen people do because I don't know how to swim. I would be too scared. I don't know if the people are if they have, I'm sure they have lifeguards there, but I don't know. So I just also like not having to depend on lifeguards or other things to keep me afloat. So whatever your dreams are, and if you don't feel comfortable telling people, don't tell anybody. Keep it between you and God. Trust yourself, because sometimes when you do share your dreams with other people, they laugh or they second guess you or they, criticize you. So just do what's in your heart to do, as long as it's not hurting anybody else. Do what's best for you. So
Absolutely.
I really like it.
I love that. Do what's best for you. And then, sometimes when you have that pivot or the shift, as you just said, you attract what you feel, what you put out. So, there are some people who have limiting beliefs. So, of course, why are you going to swim? Only white people know how to swim. Like, that's so limiting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if that's, like you said, if that's something you want to do, that's your dream. And it may be small to others, but it's big to you. For me, I'm an extrovert, but I really don't care for public speaking. But I know that that's something that I need to do. So I just pushed myself. So as an asterisk, I told one of my friends who's like-minded, and she's an accountability partner. So yeah, I kept that dream to myself. But I also told her, so she said, well, Ursula, okay, you said you're going to join Toastmasters by the end of July, whatever it was. So it's always good to have an accountability partner that can take you on that ride, but ultimately know that each person is truly the driver of their own car.
Absolutely. Like you said, that you're right. Some things you keep to yourself, but some things, if you find like-minded people or find your tribe, there are people who want to encourage you in your dreams and who can also see the vision. Though sometimes your vision is only for you. Some things God gives us, or creator, spirit, whoever, people may believe in, Allah, whoever, whatever you call your higher power. Some things are just for you. And you get frustrated because you try to tell other people about it and they're like, nah, that doesn't make sense. But it's so strong within you. You're like, it has to make sense. Like, it wouldn't be this deep in me if there was not something there. So it's a balance, but I definitely agree with finding your tribe, finding those like-minded people that you can trust, and having accountability partners.
Absolutely. And I believe the more somebody works on themselves, some people, they're going to fall off by the wayside. It just happens like that. And this is for me. Sometimes you just can't have both, because sometimes when you hold on to the old, the new is damaged. For instance, I was growing out my perm. before I had my live. And my hairdresser at the time, I just did not want to cut my perm off at all. So I had about this much new growth and about that much perm. And I held on to that old perm for so long, it was literally breaking my hair off. And then my hairdresser said, Ursula, you're going to have to let it go. Either you're going to perm your hair again, or you're going to have to cut it off. Cut off the perm. And I cut the perm off. And when I say my afro literally just blossomed like that. And I look at that with people. Sometimes you have to cut off, not meaning in a harsh way, but, in love.
Yes.
Or they fall off on their own. And then look what flourishes. It's like literally the sky's the limit. And that's when you put that 168 in. Yes. That dream.
Yes, well, you taught me something new today. Now I know I got 168 hours to get this together.
To get that shift together.
To get my shift together and to live my best life and to focus on my dreams with SMART goals. I'll do a video one time about SMART goals. But yeah, that's my major thing. I want us to dream, but I also want us to put actions behind our dreams, because I'm a Christian. I don't know if you are, but we love to say, oh, prayer, but even the Bible says prayer without works is dead. So you just can't pray. All of these, everybody, I don't discourage whatever your spiritual beliefs are. If people say manifestation, anything, all of those things are true. The power of the mind is phenomenal, but you also have to do the work. You got to move your feet. You can't just think. And I'm guilty of that myself, because I'm a thinker and I'm guilty of overthinking. So sometimes we got to get to a point where we stop thinking and stop dreaming and actually start doing, so that we can do the work to manifest these things, or, to show that prayer works and all of those things, because it does. There's a certain level of favor that has to occur with your timing and all of that for everything to come to place. But none of it comes into place without you actually doing the work.
Absolutely. So, it's like I can't show it now. I have a gazillion plants on my balcony. Like anybody, you're going to plant some plants and they look beautiful to look at, but at some point you have to water it. You get your butt up and water that plant and watch it grow. So,
absolutely.
Anyways, I would love for you to come on my platform. Just think about it. I reached out to you about the beginning of the year.
Okay.
You made you were talking about mental health and wellness. And I was listening to you. I was like, this sister, her emotional intelligence is like skyrocket. Think about it.
Yeah, just DM you're on Instagram.
I am.
Okay, DM me, because a lot of stuff got lost in the the last few months, and I'll be honest, I hadn't been, which I have already explained that to people. I hadn't really been checking DMs and different stuff like that. Just keeping my peace. So, but I'm back into everything now. So just DM me so that it's fresh and didn't get lost in the shuffle, or email me and let me know. And we can talk about it.
But keep doing what you're doing. You're such an inspiration for everyone. You have loyal followers, and you're like God's angel.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I love your platform and what you're telling me that it's about. So I'm gonna check it out. You let everybody know where to check you out so that they can find you too.
Thank you. Well, everyone is Black girls getting their shift together, and that's a mind shift. And my platform just talks about mental health and wellness in our community, meaning our Black community, because therapy has such a heavy stigma attached to it. And once I realized that, I started talking to my therapist. It could be therapist, counselor, social, whatever you want to put on it. Sometimes outside of, well, that's another conversation. But you know what I was about to say. But that's what it is, and it's a safe place so that you can share different ideologies on what you feel about mental health and wellness. And when you see so many people that look like us with our beautiful melanated skin, is that sometimes people's stories are not unique. There's a lot of other people going through. And then now everything is doom and gloom. We talk about everything on there with wellness. So thank you for asking me to say that. But you continue being God's angel.
You're welcome, and you continue helping. You're doing your part as well. We're all God's angels, and you are doing your part in sharing and helping people better themselves. That's what I'm about over here. So I love it. Like I said, the name jumped out to me when I saw it. So thank you so much for calling in. And y'all go check out Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. Is that on YouTube, Instagram, everywhere?
It's everywhere. It's YouTube. Okay. With same thing, Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. And then there's an audio podcast. So you just put in Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together, and it shows up on all podcast platforms. And yeah, I am on Instagram. Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together.
Okay, well, y'all go check out Ursula so that we can all get our shift together. Yeah. Black men too. We need to get our shift together. So if it resonates with you, if her content resonates with you, share it around the internets. Share it with our men. We all need to hear it so that we can be successful and grow together and have better marriages, relationships, work relationships, businesses, all these things.
Yes.
And be better people.
Thank you, sis. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. See you next time. Don't forget to contact me.
I will do that.
All right. Talk to you later. Good night. All right, y'all. Let me see. I got one more person. Hey, Faisa.
Hi, Plez. Can you hear me?
How are you? Yeah.
Oh, great. I'm good. So good to see you.
So good to see you too.
It's just a little difficult because your new scheduling, I have to kind of, assimilate myself to it. But
yeah, I'm gonna because work is crazy right now, and so instead of trying to run home and get online and all of that stuff, I was like, let me just do weekends. And this weekend, went crazy as well. So going forward, the schedule will be Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays with a mix in of lives and pre-recorded things. And I got you covered on the Married at First Sight stuff for this new season too. Because I know you love that.
But I just love this review, especially of Potomac and Love and Marriage Huntsville. It's amazing to me that these things it feels a bit scripted, but even within the scripting, you still see like human nature coming out at the, bubbling out. So it's not always like the character, but you see how people maneuver within the scripted incidents. So for me, when I saw Giselle text her and say, well, we can't bring Karen, it was like, okay, that's manufactured, trying to get some kind of like drama happening. But it just seems so apparent. I feel like they're dropping the ball on that one. They're just making it seem like, okay, I don't believe this at all. Love and Marriage Huntsville, I still feel like there's a bit of reality in terms of like what they're doing. But I feel like Kimmy is the realist out of all of them. And she's so not unbothered, but so transcendent of the mess that's being presented to her. Like just, when Maurice was like, oh, well, you can say this or you can say that. And she's like, you don't even take my advice to begin with. So why am I going to be here speaking for you when I'm just here to help facilitate your co-parenting? And I just thought that was so mature. Like she's teaching people a whole new way to deal with their partners. And I feel like she's a whole gem.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know. I guess because people was like, well, according to you, everybody will be alone. She's so dope. She's so great. And I don't want her to deal with that.
Well, you think she should leave Maurice?
Huh?
You think she should leave Maurice?
I don't, not that, I just hate that she has to deal with that. I should say that. I guess I probably think they probably shouldn't have gotten married to begin with. I think it's really hard when you're with someone and you have to fight to be a priority. And I hate that for her. She's so dope. Her worth is so great. And he, like a lot of people, moves the goalposts. At first it was, I'm in law school, just let me get this goal, just let me get this done, and then I'll have time. You know, so she kept, she let her guard down. She's like, okay, yes, monster can come. But pretty much everything that she knew was going to happen is happening. And that's what I don't like for her. I don't like that she has taken the resolve of this is him, and if I love him, this is how it has to be. I think he should push himself to do better and to do more work and not just rest in he's just selfish. That's just what it is. If this is for me, this is for my success. And I know how men's brains work. He's thinking, I'm really doing this for y'all so that I can provide for y'all, so that I can give y'all a good life. And I think Kimmy is saying, she works as well. She's a nurse. It's not like she makes $5 an hour. I can guarantee you between the both of them, they make well over 6 figures. And in Huntsville, Alabama, that's a whole lot of money. And they're doing way better than a lot. I guess because I'm not such a materialistic driven person, the balance is paramount. You can't tell me you have gifts or you have this house and I'm going to build on Scott Manor. And that's a peeing contest between him and his brothers. That's not for his wife, even though he deludes himself to thinking it is. It's really for him. So if he can't sacrifice in these 4 or 5 years for his son, when does it stop? That's what I'm saying. When do you really get the life that you wanted as a married couple? When do you have time for yourself? When she said they still haven't gone on the honeymoon. Yeah.
You know what? Somebody said in the chats that Maurice looks worse and worse with every season. And I think to your point about him being selfish, right? One of the things I'm learning through this show is there's the obvious Martell, right? Mm-hmm. She's a narcissist. But then you have somebody like Maurice who is essentially saying, I'm throwing myself to work so hard so that I can be a sort of like mentor to my sons, these 2 children that we're raising. Or I need you to do this for me because I can't drop the ball. And that is in itself like you said, they've got a decent salary in terms of what they bring together. But to your point, money isn't everything. And this kid is growing up, Monster, by the way. He's growing up as a teenager in a really formative time in his life, and he needs his father to be there. But for him, it's like, well, I am being there. I want my kids here. I want to make sure, like, I'm communicating with them. But you're not really doing that if you're not communicating with Kimmy. And she needs to be in the loop. And for you to think that I'm throwing myself into work. And he actually said, that's going to happen. It's not always going to be balanced all the time so it was almost as if he's saying, I'm not going to change this. You need to work around me. And one of the things that Kimmy says is, I'm already working around you. I'm talking about your son. You need to think about your son. And he kind of got defensive about that. So you see somebody who acknowledges his wife, his partner, respects her, and presents himself as somebody who wants to work through, make peace, succeed. But when it comes to him and confronting his style of parenting or his style of partnership, it seems like he can't be bothered. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's very interesting to watch this person that I felt like, whoa, there's like, Kimmy's really lucky, to have such a attractive, understanding, sensitive, but that doesn't always mean anything when it comes to the long run. As you said, he's not prioritizing her. That's important.
Yeah, I think people seriously underestimate. You can call yourself a workaholic. You can say, oh, I want to be successful and all of that. I'll sleep when I'm dead type stuff. But that's not how real life works, especially when you want other people in your real life. Like, if you really want to live that way, be a bachelor. Do you let that child go back with his mother? Because what he doesn't realize is that he will eventually grow and breed resentment in Monster.
Absolutely.
Monster already didn't want to be there. He wanted to stay with his mother. So you bring him all the way there, and then you're not actively engaged with him. He's, like I said, he's going to act out. If he's not going to get your attention one way, he's going to get it another way. And that's not a good way to do it. And I run into this I've run into this a couple times in my life. Like, I've dated guys who felt that because they were good providers, that meant they were good mates or good parents, and they weren't.
Yeah.
I know people whose parents have worked 2 full-time jobs. And they were doing it because I want to set my child up. My child won't have to pay for college. My child will have rental properties when they get grown. My child will do this, my child will do that. And the child is like, she was never at an award ceremony. She was never at a football game.
Yeah.
She was never at the play and I had the lead role. So your presence, especially in middle school and high school, matters. Like, your actual presence, not the money and stuff like that. And then so it begs, like, how much is enough? I don't know if they have like a bunch of debt or something, or if it just, like his brother said, he's going to end up building a smaller house and spending more money to compete with what Marceau and Tisha do. And that's sad to me, when you're that image conscious that you have to outdo other people, but your core family unit is hurting because of your need to be seen and be driven. Again, drive is good, but there just has to be a balance, especially once you have a spouse and a kid and you want those things as well. And him, again, like you said, he did get very defensive, and he was very defiantly saying, this is what happens with successful people, and y'all just have to suck it up. I'm not going to half-ass. Okay, so you're not going to half-ass work, but you're going to half-ass everything else.
Mm-hmm. The most important thing, what you're working for, you're going to half-ass it. Gotcha. All right, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
I just, I don't see again, this is going to be interesting because I'm waiting to see this preview for the next season, the next episode where Tisha done took Marceau in there to the therapist guy. That also bothers me. I know there aren't a lot of Black male therapists at all, but now they're going to turn this guy into the Huntsville Dr. Jeff. And I'm like, y'all couldn't go to somebody else. The man already is not going to want to go just because of what he saw on TV with this man in Martell. He's not going to want to go see him. Carlos King should have flew somebody in from Atlanta or something. They got another Black male therapist somewhere. It might not be in Huntsville, but go get somebody else. I'm for real. Marceau was going to have a wall up anyway. But it's going to be a double non-penetrable wall because it's this man.
Can I ask you something? I came in a little bit late, but what was your perspective on Marceau and the girl at the Black Chocolate Party event?
Yeah, I think Tisha is very insecure. And unless there's some kind of cut that we didn't see, because I put it on my DVR. I kept stopping, pausing, rewinding. I'm like, did I miss something?
Yeah, right.
Because I didn't even see them face to face. I heard the mic clip where he says, "Hi, I'm Marceau," and she says, "Hi, I'm Kyra." But it literally, from the visual, looked like it was in passing.
In passing, yes.
So I missed the whole, I saw her checking you out. But what I said, if you go back and watch it, was that I personally think Marceau is a cheater. I think he's been cheating. I think he's still cheating. I think he's just good at his cheating, unlike Martell. There was a reason he conveniently had to take care of more business while Tisha went ahead to Houston. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why he conveniently missed his flight that he was supposed to get on even after Tisha was there. He still missed that flight and arrived later. There's a reason why his wife opens the door in a negligee and a robe and high heels, and he's not even remotely interested. He's just like, oh, like he's scared somebody else is going to see it. He was totally disengaged.
You're right. He would be scared if somebody saw that.
He was totally disengaged. She was like, all right, I'm going to let you sit on my lap, but don't get too close. I personally feel like he had his cup filled before he got there, and his clip was emptied, and, you know, he wanted to make it seem all about work. That girl was talking about everything under the sun. He kept bringing it back to work. So I really think, you know, whether she wants to put it on mail and all of this stuff, but women know, you know, in your heart, your intuition, you know. And I think she's very insecure. I also think she knows what he likes, because they showed him he was a social butterfly, which is what he is. He was around the party shaking hands with all of the women. It wasn't until Kyra that she beeline head over, and so I'm looking from the direction that production shows us. I didn't see anything. Then the fact that I didn't see anything, and she's outside crying, where he wants tissue. I'm like, what happened? Like, girl, you are
hell is happening right now. What is going on? And it didn't look like she was crying. Did it look like she was crying for real? For real?
Well, she was tearing up. You know, she wasn't going to try to cry at the event. She wasn't going to cry at the event and mess up her good makeup. But she definitely had tears. He asked for tissue or Kleenex. She was trying to hit the Candace dab.
I was just saying, what in the Candace hell was happening?
Yeah.
Also, did it warrant crying though? I don't this is much deeper.
But I'm telling you, it's deeper. She knows. She is scared to Hades that man is gonna go somewhere else and find somebody else. And I don't know why she would be scared. She has 3 kids. I'm sure they don't have a prenup. Take him for what he's worth and keep it moving. But yeah, it was a lot. I was like, why are you crying, girl? Why? Because I saw that girl eyeing you. Make sure it's black in the bottle, chocolate in the bottle, not chocolate in the suit. Nobody want that man but you and whoever else he got on the side. Like, I don't see Kyra going after him. Unless he was gonna leave with money and be, you know, let her be a sugar baby or something. I don't see Kyra doing that. Kyra, I don't even like high value anymore because of that's the phrase that other man uses, and people misuse that phrase. But Kyra is a high value woman in Houston. So I don't really think she has her eyes set on Huntsville Marceau. When it comes to men with bags, I think she's encountered bigger bags than Marceau. And but again, I think Tisha is insecure and she knows what he likes. He probably does like, you know, dark chocolate. Not dark chocolate, but chocolate women. He, as we can see with his interactions with Kimmy and Melody, like strong-minded women, even if it's just for play. He may want a more docile woman for marriage,
For
but
home.
he
Yeah.
likes it's the game in him. He likes the feeling like he has dominated this woman who is so, up here. So it's a lot of mind games with Marceau. But yeah, girl, she got to get a better poker face or something. Because I'm like, you out here crying, and this man, you are co-owner in all of this stuff. If he messes up, you can clean him up in the divorce. Like, come on, girl.
It must be that self esteem, going back to the self-esteem thing and feeling like she has to earn his love, which I think too many women suffer from, myself included. But yeah, when you see something like that, especially since you can look at yourself, go back and revisit yourself on screen and not be able to take anything from that is disturbing to me. Like, how disconnected are you from your real sense of self and what you're displaying? Unless it's an act. I don't know. Yeah. But
yeah, it was interesting. I'll say that. We'll see how this plays out, but I think Marceau is just I think he's smart with how the women that he chooses to engage with. Because when you missed it earlier, but somebody asked earlier, after this many years, somebody would have come out by now. I'm like, no. There are some people who don't, who understand that, like, being a side piece or a mistress is not like a badge of honor. They don't want to be seen. They want to keep whatever perks they have coming. And if he is smart, most guys like that know to engage with a woman who has just as much to lose as them. So if he's engaging with like another married woman or somebody who has a certain position in society, they're not going to out themselves as somebody's mistress.
Yeah.
Only people who ain't got nothing else to do that. Shout out to Ariane. Ain't nobody finna get on the internet. Ain't nobody gonna get on the internet with that badge of honor. Like, I'm his side piece. It's me, y'all. No one fights over a man like that, because people who live life know that position is only good while there's a main player. Yeah. Anybody who realistically wants to move up to the main player's position is silly, because then your position is open. Men like that are only going to continue. Martell was only going to continue. Marceau is only going to continue. But Marceau cares a lot about image. So he's not going to engage with just any floozy, because he don't want to be like Martell in these streets and can't get nobody to do business with him.
Exactly.
So it's just, when you get to certain levels, especially in society, these are just unwritten rules. People know that their husbands cheat. They have whole arrangements.
It's incredibly fascinating to me, this whole cheating. Like, I didn't even know there were some men who wear like black rings that don't look like gold bands on their fingers. Women don't notice that they're holding a wedding ring on their finger. I didn't know that was a thing. So many ways that they've come up with to dupe, their prey, that it was just like, it's gotten really sophisticated now. But
hey, I didn't mean to do that, but while you're here, I hit the wrong button.
Yeah.
You got something else, Patty, so you want to stay on, or?
No, I'm going to go back to moderating. You guys enjoy the conversation. I'll enjoy it from the chat.
Thank you. I'm sorry for that, but I'll talk to you next time.
Have a great Sunday.
You too. Have a good Sunday. Go enjoy RHOP when it comes on.
So I'm here because I want to talk about Married at First Sight, child.
Okay. Oh, wait, we're not doing that yet.
We not?
No, I'm sorry. I missed my girl, I messed up. I broke my ring light. So I didn't do the I was not able, Jesus, to do the pre-recorded. And so I'm either going to do a live or a pre-recorded in the next
Okay.
couple of days because I ordered another ring light. I can't even
Okay.
do my sing-along Sunday today. I broke it yesterday. Girl, I broke everything. That's why the lighting in here is so bad because I'm like, y'all gonna have to bear with me because the lighting in my place sucks. So that's why I always have my ring light to get some additional. But yeah, and you driving anyway. But we're gonna talk about Married at First Sight. I'm gonna set up something out tomorrow or Tuesday. I'll set it up.
Okay. No, I'm parked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the car was on, but I was parked.
Oh Lord, she left. Well, let me see what y'all are over here saying. A spiritual babe. The ones most reluctant to leave a bad relationship used to be the sideline. Absolutely. Hey, you dropped out. I was like, where'd you go?
I don't know what that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, but today was the grab bag. We did Love and Marriage Huntsville, Housewives of Potomac, Family or Fiance, Put a Ring on It, in Raising Kanan.
Put a ring on it then.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of things. Okay, the situation with Kai.
Mm-hmm.
I was not surprised that happened. Number one, because he didn't come home one night. Number two, it's so funny that he tried so hard to make it seem like his partner was overreacting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, something ain't right. And then what we saw in Put a Ring on It, how Kai was acting, like, so when you gonna change your situation and try for something better. And I was like, why is this conversation like that? They must have been intimate with each other. And I was not surprised. Were you?
Mm-mm. No, just because I said earlier, just because of the chemistry and the things that she had been saying, I could have him if I want him and all of that stuff. I was like, yeah, she's way too comfortable. And then, not to be stereotypical, but he's a rapper. Come on now. The girl was basically throwing it at him. The girl, she let him know that she didn't care that he had a girl, that she was open and willing to follow this wherever it could lead to. So it was what it was. But he either did not bargain that she would expose him. But I really don't think I don't think he thought he was going to be made to sit down with her for any type of closure, because none of the other guys had to do that. But like I said earlier, I think it's because the other guys only went on maybe 1 or 2 dates. Nobody had gone on as many consecutive dates as he did, which is why he had to let her know why he was shutting it off. And so she was like, okay, you want to play? We're going to play today.
Yep. And if you want to do grown man things and all that stuff too, and if you're supposed to be here to grow and be open, you got to give somebody closure. If you've been on, like you said, consecutive dates, they was on 4, they would have been on multiple dates every week.
Mm-hmm.
Had they not shut down and said, won't y'all work on your relationship? And she decided not to go on a date with him. I think he had some guilt, but at the end of the day, I don't know.
And I think Kai felt played. I mean, to me, again, all of this stuff is just learning lessons.
Yep.
This man is too old to act like this.
I was going to say,
and to all of those women who think, oh, I got whatever I got and I can do it better than her, so I can take her man. You didn't. He got what he wanted and was like, now I'm going to go back to my girl. And she just decided to leave with a little parting gift and expose him. Thank God it was just exposure. Hopefully it's nothing else. Hopefully they wrapped it up. Don't add insult to injury and tell me you out here smashing this girl and ain't used no protection. That's what I want Kai to say. Tell it all, Kai.
Tell it all, Kai.
She's wrap it up.
That will give it all to us too.
I know. One of y'all who like to do that type of stuff on Instagram, get on over there in Kai's DMs and ask for the full story.
And say, give us the full story, Kai.
Let us see the text, girl, because I know he texted you afterwards telling you how good it was. Let's see. Put him on Front Street for real.
I'm sure she will once the show is over, because they all have to sign NDAs. These are ones that go out on a date and stuff like that. So
that's true.
So she ain't gonna tell us nothing too much yet, but that's what. And you notice how he was calling on, the therapist, well, or whatever she is. So, yeah, how he wanted to have one-on-ones with her, because I really think that he was feeling guilty, or he knew he was going to be exposed some kind of way. So I felt like he was trying to do some like type of damage control before that comes out, because he had to know some kind of way this was going to come out at the reunion or whatever. But
dudes be thinking they have a ride or die, and she had that ride or die energy. She would just keep it on the low. Like, he was, that mean, if you want all that, you got to whisper to her beforehand, not just ambush her on camera. Be like, hey, I'm going, I got to do this for the show, but we can still, the whole sneaky link thing. We can still hook up on the side, blah, 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 blah. But Kai didn't want side. Kai was trying to be the main entree, and that's where you play yourself at. If you take a position, you got to stick with that position unless the man voluntarily elevates you into a new position there. He could easily get on that show and say, I'm not going to propose to you. That's what the whole show is about. I'm ready to be done with you. And then rightfully choose Kai. But he didn't. Because he's comfortable and he's selfish and trifling, and he don't want to see Kai with nobody else. He was about to have he was sick to his stomach when that girl walked in there with another man on that date.
That's
just
what it was.
Trifling.
And the sad thing is that she wasn't allowing herself either to fully go through the process, because she was so child.
Girl. It was a whole bombshell. I was like, the great sex, do tell. Come on, girl. Then they gonna cut it off. I'm like, hey, they gonna cut it off. This doggone editing. The whole show was nothing, and then we get to the juiciest part in the last 5 minutes.
I know, right?
And he's sitting there with egg on his face.
Especially when she was having, I like that little sit down she had with the fellas to give them some gems.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, I
that
thought
was
it was really, really good. So yeah.
That was good.
Well, I will be I can't wait till you do Married at First Sight, because I got some
opinion
on the Kayla and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she's a alpha female.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
but I'm good. After that last episode, and that was the whole preview into the whole season, it's gonna be interesting. But we're gonna get into it. Did you since last week, did you get to check out a little bit of Law and Order?
Remember I told you guys?
Organized crime. Did you like it though?
I like it. I really do. And and you know what? I think the way it is, I don't know, but this is what I'm thinking. The organized crime, I feel like it's going to be an organized crime, a different one every season. That's what I'm getting, because how are you going to keep this going on and on and on?
I know. That's why, because I was like, if they're setting it up, to me, it's almost set up like how Power was. And I'm like, if you're setting it up that way, you can only go 5 or 6 seasons at best with him chasing Dylan McDermott's character the whole time. Because they already been to jail and let out. Now they didn't kill. Oh, well, I'm sorry if y'all haven't watched it, go watch it. I don't know how many episodes you watched, so I ain't going to tell you what's happened so far. But it's already.
I'm all caught up.
Oh, you binged the whole thing?
Oh, I did.
Oh, so they done killed the wife, who was the only real witness.
Right,
so
that's what I was saying.
Now we're back to ground zero. So how many witnesses is he gonna kill?
That's what I was thinking, and I was saying to myself too. That's what made me think that it's going to be that premise. Maybe the format may be another organized crime next season, because the way things like they done killed off Chaz Palminteri. I mean, they.
Girl, it was so good though. Like
it's so
writing,
good
every
though.
episode, I was on my edge. I'm like,
me too. I was like,
it was such a diverse cast. Yeah, it was such a diverse cast. I was hurt when the son killed the little undercover girlfriend.
Yes.
I was really hurt because I liked him. I was like, don't be like your daddy and your granddaddy. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Child, I mean, the apple don't fall far, child. Apple don't fall far.
But it ain't in him though. He wasn't gonna last long. I won't be surprised if his dad will get him killed too. or it kills him because he ain't gonna last.
Yeah.
He ain't made for it.
Yeah, he ain't made for it. Yeah.
The sister harder than him.
I say the sister's hard. She goes hard. She goes hard. She does. Yep.
The sister is harder than Lil Richie. Lil Richie just.
Yep.
But it's one in every family. Lil Richie like women. Lil Richie gonna let it, he just like he let her in. He gonna mess around and let another one in. He just weak.
I was gonna say he just that he weak in that point. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
Yeah, well, girl, go on, keep driving, get where you need to get. I'm gonna get off of here.
Yep.
And get ready to watch some RHOP and get ready for work next week. I hope you have a great week.
You too. You have a great week. I'm about to watch Potomac as well, so I can kiki in the comments with you.
RHOP and Shaw's. I guess that's what I'm
Oh, you watch the Shaw's too?
Yeah, I love Shaw's. I love Shaw's. I love Family Karma. I just like seeing other cultures from mine.
Me too.
So
I love Family Karma. I love Family Karma too. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
I used to I haven't watched the Shaw's in consistently this season, but definitely Family Karma. I love Family Karma. Oh, I love it. Yep.
Yeah. So that's what I do for Sundays and get ready for work. So you have a great week.
You too.
I will see you. So like I said, one of these days I'm gonna do it before the new episode comes on Wednesday. So I just got to see which day is better when I get home to do the Married at First Sight.
Yep. All right. Well, I see you.
All right. See you later. You too. Talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, bye.
All right, y'all. Thank you, Infinite Wisdom, for the super chat, sis. Great facts about the cast of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. Sandra Robertson said, I love Shaw's and Family Karma. Centaura says, bye, everyone. This was a fun live. Thank you so much. Pretty Mrs. G says she is a huge fan of Christopher Maloney. I am too. And Dylan McDermott. I love both of them. A spiritual babe. Thank you so much for the super chat, sis. Miracles and blessings. Good evening, everyone. All right, y'all. This is almost getting to 3 hours again, but I'm getting in my flow. Hopefully I can cut some of these reviews down. I will do timestamps as usual because I know sometimes people don't want to see a bunch of shows that they don't watch or hear a bunch of reviews. However, I just don't have the time to do, cut this up into different videos, but I will leave timestamps once everything uploads on YouTube so that if you're watching the replay, you can skip to exactly what point of the review or show you want to see. I love you all. I hope y'all have a great week. Thank you for hanging in there with me, beauties and bows. Thank you to my mods for moderating the chat and encouraging everyone to become part of our beautiful community over here. We are Scared of Beautiful. You all are my beauties and bows. I want you all to have a great week. And remember your homework. Langston Hughes, if you don't know who he is, make sure you find out who he is. One of his most prolific poems is called Dreams. It's very short and sweet. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field, frozen with snow. So this tells us our dreams are what should motivate our future. It's what causes us to live and live more abundantly. It's what keeps our spirits high. You don't want to be a broken winged bird that cannot fly. We want to fly, honey. We don't want our life to be a barren field. So keep that warmth, keep that pursuit, keep that passion. All right. Y'all have a great week. No Sing Along Sunday, unfortunately, this week, but I will be back next week. I'll post it on Instagram as well. Got to get my new equipment. But in the meantime, y'all can check out some of my old ones if you need a great start to your week, or enjoy this live if you needed a great start. I will see y'all next time. Thank you so much for supporting me. All right. getting ready to wrap it up. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.